Hello everyone, and I got to see Goosebumps this weekend, and I'm finally here to thankfully give you you guys my thoughts on this recent Goosebumps movie that I recently saw. And I'm gonna say, as a whole, just going away from the perspective of a fan, I thought the movie was actually fairly decent. It was actually fairly well done. I was surprised at how much a Goosebumps movie could be made done well. Now, from a fan's aspect, because I read a good majority of the books when I was younger, I'm a huge fan of the Goosebumps franchise. I own like 15 of the books. This film is essentially just like me when I was younger. If you're a fan of Goosebumps, this is right up your alley, where it will have all the big tributes to all the classic characters from the movies. And other people who aren't fans will definitely see that as either being forced or just being complete fan service, which I can understand why. Hell, I'm a huge fan of the Hobbit movies, but I do understand why people would complain about unnecessary cameos or something like that within a movie. But as an actual fan myself of the material that it's based on, I thought the adaptation, it was actually pretty serviceable. Was it excellent by any means? No, it's no fucking Hamlet, I would say. But I would definitely say, for its own sake, that it did embrace the fun, enjoyable, kooky type of nature that is meant to be. Essentially, the story of this movie is this kid in this neighborhood. Essentially, eventually, the house next to his is sold by his family, and he becomes friends with this girl, and her father, played by Jack Black in this movie, plays actually R.L. Stein, essentially, and and basically he goes over to their house, and one night he accidentally lets all the Goosebumps creatures out and run amok in their town, and it's essentially up to these few kids in this movie to stomp it in this movie. And to see all of these great creatures like leprechauns, ghosts, ghouls, goblins, Dracula, all these classic characters from the Goosebumps books, I got a really big kick out of it. I thought it was incredibly fun. It was really sweet to see it. It was really, really cool. And to see all this a week before Halloween, to me at least, it gets me really excited. Puts me right in the mood for Halloween, and I literally can't think of a better time of the year for a movie like this to enter. It really does feel great. Granted, this is also the time of year where you want to put in your more Oscar movies like Steve Jobs and Martian, so much more, Spectre, hopefully. So it's not like it's not gonna be like the best of this winter or the fall season, but it's definitely a good contender for its own sake. And this has a lot of fun, upbeat, positive mood to it that you can't help but enjoy, and all the performances from the kids and the adults are actually fairly solid, especially the little girl. The girl that the main character meets. The performance she gave was actually really good, and I was shocked how good she was. However, in this movie, my personal standout is Jack Black. I'm a huge fan of Jack Black, and I can tell you this may not be his best performance, but it's definitely, if there's something I know from getting from Jack Black, is that he knows how to make his performance sell really well. Like, he knows how to be that really odd type of stoner character from Tenacious D, or that really weird type of drug-busted type of character from Tropic Thunder. I love the movies he's in, like Tenacious D, Tropic Thunder, School of Rock. Bernie was actually surprisingly good. King Kong, like the remake of King Kong, that's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I love him in that movie. I know not many people like him in the movie, but I love him. He plays, like, the reason, whatever, I'll leave it at that, because that's a whole different story. But as I'm a big fan that's the thing about it, is that Jack Black is an actor I've always loved, and he just plays the shit out of this role. He's a really weird excuse me. He's a really weird accent. It's like, no, Taylor, don't do that. there's a, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like a lisp thing or like a lisp accent. I don't know. It's kind of like Samuel L. Jackson's character from Kingsman type of feeling you get from him. It's really ridiculous, but you know it's Jack Black. You know the tone that's going for. It's just silly and goofy, and you can't help but say, I know the film is going for that. So let's just embrace it. And the film is super self-acknowledging. It's really silly. It's really fun. It's really over the top for its own sake. Everything is fun. Like everything per minute. Even at the character developing moments where it needs to get a bit more serious or sentimental, it still keeps it investing and enticing, especially for children. Where in a movie like this, they would find character development really boring. But I found myself actually legitimately liking these characters. They were actually somewhat well developed. I liked the performances. They were good characters. And I was actually fairly surprised by that. Especially Jack Black. And the villain, as cliche as he and stupid as he is still really fun. And I can't help but laugh at the ridiculous nature of the film. And again, it's the speed and type of tone that the movie is going for that keeps it so hysterical and so consistently well done. Like, it keeps me into this movie, and I'm super happy of how it does it. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, for me, it got me. It's like a silly, fun movie that you're supposed to love, but it's good for its own sake. It's like a mix of, like, Goosebumps meets Jumanji, and it really is like that, like releasing all these creatures from this fictional realm into the real world and getting them all back into there in a certain amount of time. It's very much on that kind of same premise, but you don't understand, at least in my perspective, I understood why they're going for that, because it's a more fun, upbeat message, especially with kids and their sense of humor. I think that's actually kind of well done. And overall, as a kids movie, as a fun entertainment Halloween movie for the younger kids, like 13 or 14 and under, it's well done. Is it like one of the best of the year? Not really. And I will say a few big problems. Number one, like I said, it's not for everyone. It's definitely for like people who are like at least 15 and under, or people who just are a child at heart. Then I could say almost anyone would probably have fun with this movie. The second problem I have with this is that as fast-paced and all that is in this movie, that can kind of work against it. It needs to take those moments where it's going so fast at times. You want some of the characters, not only want some of the characters to breathe, but you kind of just want it to slow down some moments and just breathe. Even at the character development moments, you're in the moments of something that's going that's essentially bigger at hand. It's like, whatever, I don't know. But as a whole, I felt like it just needed to calm down for a good minute or two and essentially to explore the characters more. And then again, I do feel like the beginning did that fairly well, so I can't complain that much about it. And yeah, that's just the movie as a whole. And I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It had a fun, silly tone to it. The characters were fun. That's another thing, is that the effects are decent at times, but there's some moments where it's extremely noticeable. Like a good example of the creatures of the CG in this movie is the Abominable Snowman. If you've seen this movie, the Abominable Snowman looks absolutely good. He looks really good, surprisingly. However, there's like some and the puppet. They use an actual freaking puppet for that. I actually like that. It's really well done. However, there's some pretty noticeable CG effects that look pretty bad. Like as much as I enjoy 300 Rise of an Empire, it's not that level bad of CG. The CG is terribly noticeable at times. But in the end, I really enjoyed this movie. That was really, really fun for what it was. And if you're going in with the right expectations, it's like, oh god, Goosebumps and Jack Black, this is gonna suck. It's like, no, keep an open mind, give this movie a chance, and it may surprise you, really. It did for me. I thought this movie was gonna be silly but dumb. You know what it's gonna write, but you at least had some kind of idea of what it was. And in the end, I can't help but essentially give the film gratitude for that. And in the end, I'm gonna give Goosebumps 65 I'm gonna give it somewhere between a 65 and 70%. It's really fun. It's still really cool. It's self-acknowledging, but in the end, it's just silly and dumb, and it's for younger children. That's it. Movie as a whole. Thank you everyone for my review of this movie. As always, excuse me, and stick around as always, because when the weekend is over on Monday or Tuesday, I forgot, I'll be seeing and making a review of Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimensions, which, judging by the trailer, it looks like it's gonna suck, and I have a good feeling it will. Till then, everyone, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the future for more videos as always. Till then, I'm out. Bye.